here today, obviously to welcome Dan Muse and his family as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Just to open and give some background on the process, obviously late April and early May we began our search for a new head coach for the Pittsburgh Penguins. It was a fairly extensive process, and a special thanks to a number of our staff, namely Lucas Malloy and Nicole Gehring, who played a huge role in organizing, keeping us on track, and then to a number of members of our management team who participated in that process as well. That led to some in-person interviews here in Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago now, and then with Dan being named the head coach of the Penguins. What stood out about Dan during the process was that he was not somebody that I knew personally going into it, but right from the first time that we met, we spoke on the phone, and then when we met over Zoom and then met in person, it became clear that he was somebody that was going to be extraordinarily well suited to develop all of our players, not just our young players, but all of them. And what I mean by that is that when you look at his track record, and then you speak to the players that he's worked with, whether they were in junior or at the U.S. The national team development program, or with the Rangers most recently, whether they were a young player coming into the league or a veteran player that was continuing to try to find their way or stay in the league, Dan had made a strong impact on them, and obviously we have all those sorts of players here in Pittsburgh. The other key component to Dan was his track record in winning, but also winning with Yale in the NCAA, then going to Chicago, winning there, helping Nashville to have very successful seasons when he was a member of the Predator staff under Peter Laviolette, then going back to the U.S. program and helping them win a gold medal in 2023, and then back to New York where they had a very successful season in his first year, and then the impact that he made on the penalty killing units in his time in both Nashville and New York alike. And then I think finally, and probably the most important, was just the character, talking to players and people and staff members that Dan has worked with, just the way that he conducts himself, his work ethic, his intelligence, just everything about him. As we got through it and further on into the process, it became clear that he was going to be a great fit to help us, to partner with us and help lead us through this transition and then back into contention with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So on that note, I'd like to welcome Dan and his wife and 4 children to Pittsburgh and introduce him formally as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I'll start off by saying thank you to you, Kyle, the Fenway Sports Group, and the entire Pittsburgh Penguins organization. This is a tremendous honor. It's a dream come true, and I couldn't be more thankful. On a day like today, you reflect back. Also, just want to say thank you to all the different coaches, staff members, players that I've had an opportunity to work with and learn from. A couple people in particular that have made a major impact on me. Keith Lane, head coach at Yale University, and Peter Laviolette, who gave me my first opportunity to work in this league. And last but not least, thank you to my family who's here today, my wife Maureen, our children, Fiona, Eve, Kieran, and Aurora. Love you guys, and thank you for being a part of all this and all the love and support along the way. Over the last, I think it's 4 or 5 weeks now, this process, and it's been an amazing process. They're trying to learn a lot about me, and I'm having an opportunity through this process to learn a lot about the Pittsburgh Penguins, the organization, and the city. And through this, this number one I learned is just it's amazing people here. Through the interview process, all the staff members I've had an opportunity to meet with and talk to, they're amazing people. They have incredible ideas, and you can feel the one for collaboration and building together. And it's so exciting to be a part of that. And then through this process, you see what an exciting time it is to come in here.